Your beloved New York City may well be led by a communist soon, Zoran Mamdani, who in his nomination speech said he will defy ICE and will not allow ICE to arrest criminal aliens in New York City. Your message to communist Zoran Mamdani?
Well, then we'll have to arrest him. Look, we don't need a communist in this country, but if we have one, I'm going to be watching over him very carefully on behalf of the nation. We send him money. We send him all the things that he needs to run a government. And by the way, they get about 3 times what you get, Ron. If you look at...
All right, y'all, we are back with another video. I definitely had to get this to y'all because Zoran Scamdani just got exposed again. Now, I showed y'all a video yesterday how Kathy Hochul pretty much helped push this guy's line agenda, talking about free buses, $30 minimum wage. All of this stuff was a complete lie. His campaign was a complete lie. And Kathy Hochul is responsible for this because now she's coming out talking about she ain't going to support anything that he got going on. She ain't raising taxes on the rich. She ain't doing this free buses, none of this. But the thing is, Kathy Hochul already knew she wasn't going to do any of that. But yet she waited till after this communist got elected and then decided to come out and say, I'm not going to do any of this. I mean, just absolutely insane. And we've seen all the vicious threats coming from Scamdani that he's been doing, aiming towards President Trump. Every time you turn around, he's sending vicious threats at President Trump. I'm going to do this to President Trump. I'm going to do this. We got to fight against him. He's always on somebody's side that's talking about doing something crazy and vicious to President Trump. Then he'll come out and threaten President Trump himself. So we got a good bit to get to today. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support, and shout out to the one that always watches the entire video. I appreciate all of you that do that because it definitely helps get the video out there and it helps get President Trump's message out there. So please let me know down below in the comment section that you did stay to the end of this video. And by the way, it seemed like Zoran Scamdani is surrendering to President Trump. All of a sudden now he wants to talk to President Trump on the phone, but yet he was just blaming President Trump for like a bomb or something in New Jersey, saying that that was on President Trump. President Trump did that. Then you threatening President Trump. Now all of a sudden he want to get on the phone call with President Trump. Just absolutely insane. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into this, y'all. So, as you can see by OSZ right here, it says Zoran Scamdani said he plans to call Trump before taking office. He said, I will be reaching out to the White House as we prepare to actually take office because this is a relationship that will be critical to the success of the city. So what about all that tough guy talk, all that Donald Trump is this, Donald Trump is that, Donald Trump's a threat to democracy, he's this, he's that. Now, all of a sudden, now he want to work with him because at first he said he wasn't going to work with him. So it just goes to show you that this guy is a fake. Look at this. By Red Wave Post, a New York mayor-elect Zoran Scamdani said he would call President Trump before taking office in January of 2026. He told NBC New York in an interview. Check it out.
I will be proactive in the work that I do, and I think that is because of the responsibility I hold to 8.5 million people of being their mayor. It is important that you are open to working with anyone, no matter what disagreements you may have. And I've said this when it pertains to President Trump, that if President Trump wants to speak about lowering the cost of living or delivering cheaper groceries like he ran on, I'm there to have that.
Oh, he talking about cheaper groceries when he was just talking about government-run grocery stores. What about the $30 minimum wage? What about the free buses? This guy is a absolute joke. All of that stuff he promised gone out the window. And I know everybody in New York is feeling salty right now for voting for this liar. And we tried to warn y'all that Zoran Scamdani is a liar and y'all fell for it anyway. Yeah, because he was sending threats at President Trump. Y'all believed him. Talking about he gonna freeze your rent, free bus ride, $30 minimum wage, government-run grocery stores, and he can't do none of it. Absolutely insane.
That conversation. The distinction will be that previous administrations have looked to have that conversation to the benefit of themselves and the expense of the people that we look to serve.
Understood, but do you plan to call President Trump?
I will be reaching out to the White House and as we prepare to actually take office, because this is a relationship that will be critical to the success of the city.
So it wasn't just a hypothetical scenario on our debate stage.
No.
You're actually going to call him. What will you say?
Well, I'll say that I'm here to work for the benefit of everyone that calls the city home, and that wherever there is a possibility for working together towards that end, I'm ready. And if it's to the expense of those New Yorkers, I will fight it.
So, I mean, this guy's an absolute joke. This man said all of this thing about President Trump. We can't trust President Trump. We ain't going to do this. I don't need President Trump. I'm going to do this. We're going to have free this. And he's surrendering. Like I said, he's a joke, and people fell for it. Now, look at this. This is just some of the stuff that I'm talking about. Now, we heard his speech. I ain't got to play y'all that. We heard his speech when he won, and then he did a little old speech and went out to President Trump. This guy was so mad. He was so angry at President Trump for whatever reason. And then not only that, look at this. In a disgusting mood, communist Zoran Scamdani blames President Trump for bomb threats at Election Day polling places in New Jersey. And he blamed it on President Trump.
Incredibly concerning. And I think that it is an illustration of the attacks we're seeing on our democracy. Sometimes they're blatant and explicit in the manner of these bomb threats. And we have to understand this as part of the general approach the Trump administration has taken to trying to intimidate voters.
Wow.
With baseless.
So you want to say intimidate voters when you just lied to every New Yorker who voted for you? You just lied to every single New Yorker. And now Kathy Hochul coming out saying she ain't passing none of the stuff that you promised. And I'm going to keep saying that. She just as big as scum as Scamdani. Because she knew she was not going to pass any of that stuff. She knew it, but she let it ride. That goes to show you that she's a problem as well. Because she let it go on. She should have came out before then and say, I'm not going to pass that. We can't do free bus. We can't do $30 minimum wage. We can't do taxing the rich. Government run. No, we can't do that. But she didn't. She stayed in the background till this man got elected and then comes out and say, I'm not going to do any of that. So, I mean, she's just as wrong as he is. I mean, they both are liars.
Allegations of voter fraud as a means of trying to repress the voice of Americans across this country.
I don't know if he's going to get that question again today, but the general approach the Trump administration has taken to trying to intimidate voters, unless we heard him incorrectly, what in the world is he talking about?
He is serving up a Kamala-sized word salad, but he's using kale instead of romaine. It's just a slightly better finessed verbiage than we were given with her. This is emptiness. It means nothing. What he's doing is deflecting because he doesn't have an answer for this because he is not prepared if, God forbid, something like 9/11 happens again. Just think about that. Were you in New York on 9/11? Do you remember what happened to this city? Do you remember what happened to this country? Do you remember who was mayor and what was needed from that office? Could this person really provide that? I mean, it scares the hell out of me. I hope everyone has a plan with their kids if, God forbid, something happens.
Got it.
I'm telling you. And this is what he did. Now all of a sudden he need President Trump. Oh, I'm gonna talk to him now. And look at this. It's a New York City is getting messed up over by Zoran Scamdani in 48 hours. No minimum wage. This is just stuff he been coming out saying. No minimum wage increase. No free bus rides. A used rundown grocery store run by his cousin enjoyed the goat meat. I mean, people is going crazy. Spitfire said, imagine believing Mamdani could deliver a $30 minimum wage and free bus rides. He doesn't have that power or control, but you idiots believed him. Now you have a commie as mayor. Bravo, New York City. But a lot of people didn't look into it. A lot of New Yorkers didn't look into it, and that's why we make these videos trying to warn people. And they looked over it all because of they hate of President Trump. Oh, let's just vote for him because we know it's going to make President Trump mad, but not realizing you're hurting yourself, especially because you stay there. Just don't make any sense. And then he pretty much admitted it right here. Zoran Scamdani admits his free bus plan isn't actually free. It would cost taxpayers between $600 and $700 million every year. In other words, expect higher taxes. Absolutely insane.
Really, people who ask me questions about, is it possible to make buses fast and free? I say the cost would be about $600–700 million, which is less than Andrew Cuomo gave to Elon Musk 1 year in tax breaks of $959 million. Showing
God.
people the context that we're in and building a coalition where they may not see themselves in me, perhaps, but they may see themselves in the best and the brightest that I'll hire.
This guy's, I mean, just people believe him. Look at it. Holy crap. Please tell me Mamdani didn't actually say this. The key reasons why we have to make buses free is because it reduces the assaults on bus drivers. What the world? Did he actually say this? Y'all let me know in the video. Did he actually say this?
I think it's one of the key reasons why we have to make buses free is because it reduces the assaults on bus drivers. It creates a safer work environment. I think.
Oh my God, boy! I mean, this is just crazy. And you see it right here. A shiny and sweaty Zoran scam say his free bus service will only cost $700 million. Problem is he can't actually pay for it since he can't raise taxes on billionaires or corporations. And free buses would be crowded, dangerous, slow, and smelly. You know, if you make free bus, right? You know how many people gonna be packed on there? Man, come on, man. That right there is just crazy. Absolutely crazy. And I want to show y'all that because this is a guy that went up to a bus in New York City. It says about finding out when the free buses start now that Mamdani won. Let's check out what this bus driver said.
Excuse me, sir, I have a question. So I saw on the bus it said, and I see the sign that says fares required. I thought the buses were supposed to be free now because, Mamdani just won.
That's good. That's a good one.
When does that start?
That's never going to start.
Never going to happen?
That was fucking.
All right, well, I want to say I appreciate what you do.
So he said it's never going to happen. Listen to it. He said it's never going to happen.
I thought the buses were supposed to be free now because, Mamdani just won.
That's good. That's a good one.
When does that start?
That's never going to start.
Never going to happen?
That was fucking.
All right, well, I want to say I appreciate what you do, my guy. All right, have a good one, my guy. Listen, you are the heart and soul, the backbone of New York.
And this is a bus driver that's in New York City. He's saying it's never going to be. So he pretty much was just serving up word salad and New Yorkers fell for it. Serving up word salads. I mean, it sounds good when you said, he gonna freeze my rent, y'all. We're gonna get free buses, $30 minimum wage. I mean, hell, anybody will vote for that. But then you gotta look in between the line is this person gonna actually do this or are they just trying to trick me into getting my vote? So a lot of people didn't look into it. They just looked at it that it sounded good. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you got to start doing your research on this type of stuff. Now, check out what this guy right here said about this, about Kathy Hochul and, Scamdani.
New York City Mayor Mamdani, who's going to be taking office in January, proposal of a free bus transit has been shut down. New York City Governor Kathy has blocked Mamdani's proposal for the free bus service. She basically said she could not endorse a plan that will cut revenues from a system that relies on bus fare. Now, the crazy thing about this is, you best believe Mamdani already knew this. You don't think his camp knew this? Oh God. He fed you all a bunch of baloney, liberals.
Yep.
You know he can't do that. This man won mayor and he think he's Moses, the head homie in charge, huh? The thing about this is most of the things that he was offering are things that if you did a little research and investigate, you would realize that he is incapable of doing these things. But
yep.
No. You know liberals, boy, whatever they hear that sounds good to them in their feelings, they gonna go with it, which is why I don't even blame Mamdani. He played the system. He capitalized off of stupid people. This is America, and one thing America has is a whole bunch of sheeps, like liberals. Follow a person in the abyss if that person sounded good.
And he's acting right. He just fed a whole bunch of lies. Look at this. New interview with CNN and New York Governor Kathy Hochul. Kathy Hochul doubles down. She will block any attempt to raise taxes by Zoran Scamdani in New York. Zoran Scamdani's campaign was a lie. So, I can just imagine how all these New Yorkers sitting around waiting on their rent to be froze. oh, God, I'm just sitting around, we voted for Scam Dunny. Now we just waiting to get the message to our phone or on TV that we no longer have to pay rent or government-run grocery store. Like, come on, man. It's like sitting around waiting on it. It's just not going to happen.
His agenda is incredibly ambitious. It is, as he has described it, a democratic socialist agenda. Free childcare, free buses, rent freeze, the list goes on. I talked to him on Monday
that's
night.
A lie.
He said to me he hasn't wavered 1 millimeter on raising taxes on New York City's wealthiest residents to pay for some of that. Now, Governor, you have said repeatedly that you would not raise taxes. You said, quote, I've said there's no new income taxes. Do you stand by that promise?
Yes. Again, what I find so fascinating is all this conversation about how I'm continuing to lead New York State. I'm the one putting money back in people's pockets and cutting middle-class taxes, as I've done, and finding ways to support child care. These are areas where I'm aligned with Zoran Mamdani. And we'll work on this and build more housing so people can have a roof over their heads.
Oh, she's talking about build more housing, but yet Scam Dunny just made a video the other day talking about confiscating people's properties in New York City.
Starting on day one, we will expand the city's special enforcement programs, doubling fines for hazardous violations and tripling them for conditions that are immediately dangerous. And when a really bad landlord, like this guy, refuses to fix it, the city's going to step in, make the repairs, and send them the bill.
Okay, watch next.
If that doesn't work, the city's taking over the building. We're putting the worst landlords out of business.
He says, we're going to take over the building.
So it's theirs. It's the city's.
So you mean like seize the means of production
That's
like
exactly
communists?
Wait a minute.
So he's saying the quiet part out loud,
yes,
and people voted for it.
That's right.
Just absolutely unbelievable, man. Absolutely unbelievable. Just a whole bunch of empty promises. So, I mean, Kathy Hochul is just to blame for this as well. Like I said, she knew she didn't support any of this crap that he was saying. Say, empty promises. Supporters of Zoran Mamdani are reportedly developing buyer's remorse. Now, think about that. His supporters of Zoran Scam Dunny are reporting developing buyer's remorse after learning Governor Kathy Hochul would not greenlight his free bus plan or tax the rich. She said, I cannot set forth a plan right now that it takes money out of a system that relies on the fares of the buses and the subway. Oh, man.
Oh, I'm from Buffalo. We don't put up with a lot of crap. So I just want to set the stage that, you look at the history of people who've run multi-million-dollar ad campaigns to try and get me to change my position. I don't change my position. So I just want to put it out there.
So she pretty much just said she ain't changing her position. Like, she ain't taxing the rich. She ain't doing the free buses. She ain't doing any of that. Oh, boy, I'm telling you, boy, New York has been bamboozled.
I respect people's opinions. I respect the proper place to convey them. And so I've said to people, I hear you. And that was important. But also, there's a time and place. And so that's all on that. No, I've had conversations on this trip, but many conversations, I'd say over the summer and the fall, that were important, that led to an understanding of what's in the realm of possibility, shared ambitions, but what is doable is the question. And so, no, we're aligned on so many of these issues. I've made it clear where I have strong disagreements with issues that really do not pertain to, the governance.
Okay, so why didn't you disagree beforehand? You already knew you didn't support what he was saying, but you waited till after the election, so you just as a big a scam as he is.
Of New York City, I've said you need to get a police commissioner that people trust, who has a record of accomplishment to keep the trajectory that we're on right now, which is crime is going down. Crime is going down significantly. You don't say mission accomplished, but that is a great trend. So him agreeing with that assessment, that recommendation to keep Jessica Tisch, was an important statement on many fronts. So I'm looking forward to, him having our teams keep a lot of conversations with our teams. We said we'd be talking, actually I'm meeting him very soon to talk about our response if there is a surge of ICE agents and National Guard that do come, perhaps after his inauguration, and how we can be proactive in preventing that from happening. And that's the state I'm in right now, prevent that from happening. So we've had a lot of conversations. So no, I think there's a mutual respect. And that's gonna, I think, go.
Yeah, that's a mutual respect. And then she ain't passing none of the crap that this man was out here promising. So that's pretty much what she admitting.
You know, I'm so torn because I would like to see the new mayor do well because I love New York. I really love New York. When I left New York for Washington, New York was doing really well, but there were some bad signs. The bad sign was a guy named de Blasio. So the signs of de Blasio, that was the beginning, and it was bad. This one, we're going to, look, for 1,000 years, communism has not worked. Communism or the concept of communism has not worked. I tend to doubt it's going to work this time.
Did you see his victory speech?
No, it's literally never worked. Yeah, I thought it was a very angry speech, certainly angry toward me, and I think he should be very nice to me. You know, I'm the one that sort of has to approve a lot of things coming to him, so he's off to a bad start.
When you put in communist and yes, communist policies, that's what Zoran Mamdani is talking about.
He's not a communist.
It
He's a
never
democratic
works.
socialist. He says he's a democratic
I can't tell what the difference is.
Well, he can describe
explain what the difference is.
He can describe the differences for you. The socialism is not the same basis of communism in this country. You know that quite
The
well.
man wants to create government-run grocery stores. He wants free transportation, both of which are impossible to do. Because how is
a trigger word to try to undermine all of his policies. He's not a. He says he doesn't.
I don't need to undermine his policies. His policies undermine himself.
Well,
because they've never worked. Here's all I want him to do. Tell me where they've ever worked. They've never worked. He knows that. I knows that. But what he's trying to do is promise everybody something that they can't have. And the truth is there is no free lunch, just like there's no free bus. Because you know what happens when you have a free bus? There's nobody there to fix it or to drive it. He knows that. I know that. You know that. America does know it. And it's unfortunate that the city of New York, my former home city, is probably going to have to go through this.
And then you just constantly catch this woman in a lie. And I'm going to show y'all exactly what I'm talking about. If you look at here, say, Kathy Hochul, all these drags Buffalo Bills into tax the rich. So pretty much she was in front of a crowd. They were chanting, tax the rich, tax the rich. And then she just tried to say that she thought they were saying Buffalo Bills. Then in another video, she was like, well, I hear you. And then during them saying tax the rich, she said, I hear y'all. I hear y'all. Then you get an interview said that you thought they said something else. Like, this woman is a liar, man. Look, let's check this out for a second. Then we'll get on down to it.
Given the reception you received last night at Zoran's rally where people were chanting, tax the rich, are you going to hold the line on raising taxes, even if it means losing an endorsement or getting a primary challenge?
I couldn't hear what they were chanting. I thought they were saying, let's go Bills.
She said she thought they were saying, let's go Bills. But she heard them saying, tax the rich. Because after they said that and they kept chanting it, she said, I hear you. She's just telling a lie.
I wasn't sure. When you're up there, I heard some noise. I heard a lot of cheers. But later on, it became clear to me that I know there's passion for that. I mean, I went in there as the leader of the Democratic Party, whose job it is to unify. And unify behind the Democratic nominee. I love the energy out there. I told them that. And I want to do is bottle all that up, use it in a few days, but take that to Long Island and the Hudson Valley and make sure that we can stop the insanity that's happening now while we're in the minority, while we don't have the power, the levers of power in Washington. I want to win back the House through New York. And what I saw in that stadium was refreshing.
She want to win back. She want to do it by lying and scamming New Yorkers by not saying that when she heard Scam done and making all these promises that he knew wasn't going to pass, and she knew it. This woman is a scam artist. She's a scam artist.
Refreshing and energizing to know we can harness all that to be on the same team and to make sure we can do a lot of great things for the people of this state and indeed the country. So, no, it's a great event. I enjoyed being there.
So would you change your mind about taxes?
Because of that event?
Because of that.
You notice he had to ask her again because she just went all the way around the world and didn't even answer the question. So he had to ask her again.
And
about conversations about
him endorsing you.
Well, I didn't ask him for his endorsement. That's the only reason he hasn't. They want to know my timeline. I said, let's get through this election.
You heard she said, let's get through this election, which means she knew he was lying about free buses, $30 minimum wage, government run groceries. She knew he was lying. That's why she was like, I was telling him, let's just get through this election.
focus be on your race. I have a lot of time to roll out my endorsements, of which there'll be many that I'll be proud of. So that's unrelated to the event. I want to be there as the leader of the party and say, we have a lot of voices in this party. Let's pull it together. Let's win this election and on to 26.
Great, thank you.
This woman is a... Now, here you go right here. So this is right here where it says, Zoran Scamdani's rally crowd chants, tax the rich at Governor Hochul. And she say, I can hear you. Let's hear her own words.
We need more child care. And it has to be universal. Child care for everyone who wants it. So here's what we're going to do.
So as you can hear, they saying tax the rich. And then this is when we get an interview and say, I thought they were saying they were chanting Buffalo Bills. Oh my God.
All right. I can hear you.
Look at her. She said, I can hear you. And then she just said in the other interview, she thought they said they were chanting Buffalo Bills. And that's what I'm talking about. And then this is another one right here. That Kathy Hochul admits Zoran Scamdani won't be able to fund his socialist programs in New York City because she won't raise taxes on the rich. Mamdani completely duped his supporters. The money isn't there, especially since billions are wasted funding illegals. And here she go admits she's not going to pass any of the stuff that he was talking about.
We know that Mamdani does want to tax the rich more, bring it up about 2%. He can't do that on his own. You've previously said that you wouldn't be raising taxes. Have you reconsidered that stance?
No, I would say one energetic rally does not get me to change my positions.
So one energetic rally don't get her to change her position. So here's the thing. That's why she won't go over to like Fox News and them, because they will ask her the same question I've been saying. If you knew you was not going to support him, support the free bus rides, the $30 minimum wage, taxing the rich, why didn't you come out before he got elected? If she go to Fox News, I guarantee you somebody over there would ask her that. Kathy Hochul, why didn't you say anything beforehand if you knew you did not support what he was promising to New Yorkers? She's not going to go to Fox News. That's why she stayed right over there on the left wing side, CNN, because they're not going to ask her that.
I assure you. But I do hear people's voices. I process what everybody says, but I'm also have to balance governing this state and making sure that those people who are actually the reason we have a generous, supportive budget that helps lift people up, it's their revenues that we tax. 1.5% of New Yorkers cover about a third of our budget. That's enormous. I'm concerned about outmigration of people who are the ones who are supporting our budget. I cannot make up for that with middle class tax increases. I cannot do that to the middle class and the struggling New Yorkers. So this is the balance. I mean, this is my...
So she said, I can't do that. But yet she sat back and let this man make all those promises that she knew she can't do and she said she wouldn't do. So, like I said again, that goes to show you that this woman is a liar. And that's the reason why Elise Stefanik is running for governor of New York City. So make sure when it's time to vote for Elise Stefanik to remove Kathy Hochul out of there. So a last video I would like to show y'all is this young woman pretty much just letting everybody know that at least 84% of women from the age 18 to 29 voted for Scamdani, because, they believed his lie. They believed their rent was going to be froze. They believed it was going to be government-run grocery store. They believed they was going to get $30 minimum wage. They believed everything that came out this man's mouth. But I want y'all to check out what this young lady had to say about it.
White, liberal women with a savior complex are the worst. In New York City, women aged 18 to 29, 84% of them voted for Zoran Mamdani. I guarantee you most of them could not tell you why. Besides something about empathy towards migrants. The same migrants that want to implement Sharia law, which takes away women's rights. The irony of this is women aged 18 to 29 are probably likely the target demographic for men. So they are voting to make their city less safe for themselves when they are getting stalked or harassed or raped or worse by a mentally ill homeless person. A social worker will show up, an unarmed social worker with no training, because Zoran Mamdani wants to defund the police. They want to protect the illegals in our country and make New York City a sanctuary city because Orange Man bad. But what they don't understand is that idea that there is a hierarchy to civilization, that the rest of the world is so bad we have to open our borders for other people to come in because their lives are worse outside of the country. That's an acknowledgement that there is, in fact, a hierarchy to civilizations, that there is a better way of thought, which obviously America has because we were built on capitalism. Another thing that Zoran does not believe in. These white liberal women have this guilt because I think when you perform better than the rest of the world or you see inequalities, you have a guilt about it. And you feel like you want to share your privilege. It's a natural thing. Unfortunately, people take advantage of that kindness, of that empathy. It is suicidal empathy, because what they're now making room for is an ideology and a religion who believes that women have half of a brain, who believes women should not have equal rights to men. Conservative women need to start speaking up and questioning these liberal women as to why they hold the ideas that they do. It's going to be uncomfortable, but it's necessary for the survival of our future.
So like I said, thank you all for watching in the comment section. I appreciate everybody that stayed to the end. Thank you very much for that. And I will keep y'all up to date as more information comes out. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.